Literally.
In the parking garage at UT. It was the funniest thing. I was sitting there going, oh.
He ran into you?
And
He was deep throat. We met in the parking
We met in the parking lot. And I looked over there and he rolled down the window. I thought,
oh, here we go. Here we go. There you go, 99.3 KOKE, the legendary KOKE FM, also heard on 98.5 FM. While we're telling stories...
Send no money, that's N-O-M-O-N-E-Y. That's VID00002, Oklahoma.
I was in Las Vegas one time at the, I think it was the Sands, and I've gone to see Larry Gatlin. And Larry and the brothers are up there on stage, and they're singing their heart. What was it?
Probably the Desert Inn.
It was a Desert Inn. See how, yeah, Desert Inn Sand sounds the same. Well, it's over there. It's over there, I think.
Wait.
Hey, nothing works right now, Larry.
That's not a knob.
Oh, so that's a preacher said that.
Preacher, we may need you before the morning's over with.
Preacher doesn't know knob. It's two things, does he?
Continue your story about me.
Okay, go ahead, Bob.
We were talking about, yeah.
Old Larry Gatlin bursts out into all the gold in California, and nothing happens. And he just stops cold dead and said, all right, now wait just a minute. Do you know who I am? Do you know? No, he does. He says, do you? And he gets a mic and he jumps down into the pit, down into the crowd, and he starts walking around. He goes, I'll have you know, I've won Grammys. I've been nominated for 35 Grammys, and I've, you know, and I'm pretty important. And if I start the #1 song, then y'all start singing and acting like you've heard it before. And I mean, that crowd took off after that. But it was like we'd all gone to a funeral before that. Is that something that you very rarely had to do that on? Do you remember that at all?
All right, friends and neighbors. I don't know about your bovine droppings meter, but mine just went off.
I was there. I was there. That is not bull butter.
Well, you've put a little hair on the story.
No, sir, Mr. Gatlin. Mr. Gatlin, I cleaned it up. I left out a lot of words.
Here's what happens. Here's what happens. You go out there and with a little class and style and dignity and humor, self-deprecating most of the time.
Which you are.
Look it up, Aggies.
Hey, one of the Aggie Board of Regents listening in right now.
Hello.
Jim
I don't
Short.
care. I'm going to be here one day.
You're
I'm
gonna
going to be here for about an hour. This ain't exactly a career move for me. Are we recording this?
Yes.
No, we don't have anything to record yet. We established that yesterday. Yeah.
Well, here's what happens. You go out there, and it wasn't even all the gold, because they always clap for that.
This one didn't. I was there.
If you will just
This is going to be a while, Bob.
Yeah, you're right. Let me just sit back and enjoy it.
put a sock in it, okay? Put a sock in it. Here's what happens. Oh, I get it.
Oh, you're going to use that thing.
We'll go out there and sing, "Night time," and then we start, "I don't want to cry." And if they don't applaud, I said, "Now, folks, hold on a minute." I said, you know, just a second. Because of the tremendous popularity of country music all over the known world and parts of Wisconsin, we are getting younger and younger people into our audience all the time. And I look out there and there ain't no young people. And I say, I said, when we do get younger people in here, we start these old songs. Y'all stop laughing long enough for me to tell the punchline. I said, when we do get young people in here, 16, 15 years old, they don't know these old songs. And they just look up at us like a goat looking at a new gate. Now I said, you old geezer, you more mature people, y'all are supposed to have heard these songs. And the promoter of this show is paying us very well. So when we start these Dad Burns songs that were big hits a few years ago, would you please act like you have heard them before? Now that is the story. And it's a lot more gentle and a lot more humorous and a lot more show business like.
Now, why do I remember you saying?
Because you have a very creative memory.
Do you know who I am?
I did not say, do you know who I
Larry,
am?
here's the truth. If you were to have said it, and I thought you did, you would have said it humorously. You would not. You would never have said it like, "Do you know who I am?"
You know what I would have done? If I'd have said anything close to that, I'd said, "Do you know who I used to be?" Well, I used to be hotter than mad. And we're still doing okay. I'm grateful.
You are doing what? Now, here's the bad news. unless you were one of his neighbors, maybe the good news, Larry moved from Austin. You're no longer in Austin. You moved back to Nashville because...
I'm here right now. We
You
ain't
are.
phoning this in.
No, that's a fact. But why did you and Janice decide, after all these years, to pick up and move back to Twangtown?
Property taxes.
Seriously?
No, Lord, God, no.
Because I noticed you pawned your Rolex. You got a Timex on it.
I still have a Rolex.
You do? You? Okay.
It's for sale. Somebody made me an offer I can't understand already.
Ask Linda about pawning Rolexes. We understand. Yes,
Here-
we've done it.
Here's the deal. I tell people I'm an American by birth and a Texan by grace of God. I was born in Seminole, Texas, Gaines County, and I'm proudly a Texan. I love Texas. I'll always be a Texan, and we'll probably move back, or at least someday. What we plan to do is try to get one of those little apartments downtown so we can come, see the Horns games.
Mm-hmm.
The fireman has to go to the fire. You had to come to work today. And some folks are going, we have no idea why we came to work.
Well, you're writing songs. I understand.
Well, I found out from people like Leslie Satcher, John Rich. John Rich called me out of the clear blue sky. I started calling him something. He's got the it. He's got the it thing that you can't overdo. You can't fix in the mix. You can't give it to somebody. A manager can't teach it to you. PR man, preacher can't pray for it. Well, I'm going to stay out of that arena. But you either have it or you don't. And he's got it.
And John Rich has it.
John Rich.
He does.
He has it more than anybody I've seen since that other JR.
And when if you were...
Ask who that might be. Pay attention. It's not just about you asking
The other
questions.
JR would be, you're talking about Johnny Cash.
Right.
Yeah.
Johnny Cash's name was JR.
Right.
JR Cash. It wasn't Johnny. But anyway.
You're right. I'm glad you pointed that out. That was lost on me. I did. Everybody didn't get that. You're exactly right. But those that were exposed, as silly as this statement sounded, but for a lot of folks that didn't get to know John Rich till he did that big old stint on Celebrity Apprentice, you saw what a really smart guy that guy
John
is.
Rich is very bright. He's a very smart songwriter. He's a good cat. We've become, one night, I asked him.
He's the biggest I'm interrupted. He's the biggest smart ass this business has known since Larry Gatlin. And I don't say that to be funny. He's got your same drive, but,
he could sit
stabbing sense of humor.
He could sit on a snow cone and tell you what flavor it is. Are we really not taking this?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Huh?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, anyway, John called me. Leslie Satcher called me. She said, I want to write a song with you. So I said, why? She said, because when I was a little girl, you was my hero. You and Willie Nelson and Dolly Parton said, that's all we listened to. I said, well, good Lord, woman. I said, you got 5 songs on George Strait's last album. You probably don't need me. She said, yeah, you taught me how to do it.
Really?
So, y'all, no, nobody has our new album.
I do.
See if you can get a song. Pull up a song called Come Back to Texas. See if you can get that on iTunes, because y'all don't have it. Pay attention, is it?
We'll get it done. We'll get it done.
Eric, he's genius.
Eric?
We weren't here 5 days ago, so we don't have the album. But we'll get it.
Okay. See if you can find Come Back to Texas. It's off the Gatlin Brothers Pilgrimage album that sold 12 copies. 10 copies were bought in a 5-block radius from my mom's house in Plano.
I don't want to correct you publicly. The name of the album is what?
The Pilgrimage?
It was The Pilgrim, wasn't it?
Okay, see, I rest my case. The Pilgrimage is the new CD we did for Curb last year that, like I say, it sold.
Okay.
See, if you won't step on my punchline, you'd have heard it.
I'm trying to impress you. I know something about you. Ain't many of us around.
Well, if you know something about me, you know it makes me madder than a son of a buck for somebody to interrupt this brilliant dribble.
Excuse me, we're trying to find the song.
Of course, last time you interrupted an old boy, he got mad at you, said something bad, and got fired. That went over like a lead.
No, that ended up being Eric Rain's fault, I promise you.
What? Anyway, Leslie Satcher and I went to Nashville. This is 4 or 5 years ago. We sat out in a room, and she's a songwriting machine. I just love her. She's from Waco or somewhere over in East Texas. And I said, why do you want to write a song? You got 5 songs on George Strait. She said, well, me and my girlfriend said, we just got in that car. She said, we drove up there listening to you and Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson. She said, I remember the first time I saw Dallas. I said, what? She said, well, I said we was listening to your music. I remember the first time I came to Dallas. I said, sit down. Just write that. So Leslie Satcher said, remember how it felt the first time we saw Dallas? Did the bright lights of Big D take your breath away? And I said, and your Dr. Pepper bottle turned into a silver chalice. Dallas made a chariot out of a beat-up Chevrolet. I know how to do this.
Put some music behind it.
You got it?
That's good, my
And
friend.
listen to the whole thing, and everybody shut up. You cannot talk while a medium-sized genius is singing. Turn it up loud.
He's a smart
Turn it
ass.
up loud.
He's Larry Gatlin.
Now, this is a heck of a song. This is a great song and a great record. Took out